Hello. Oh, I don't want my ass to look that big in the camera view. Welcome to Human. My name is Jess McDonald, Jessica, and I'm recording from bed for the first time ever. And what I was referring to at the beginning of that was I was looking in the viewfinder of the camera and you could see my big bum, my big bum. Welcome to the show. Welcome. I have always recorded episodes when I've been in a good mood, and today I was in a really bad mood, and I'm going to tell you why. And I thought, why do I always have to record an episode when I'm in a good mood? I can record an episode when I'm in a bad mood. Let's just see how it goes recording an episode in a bad mood. And if it sucks, well, it won't be live. But if you're listening, it is live. So here we go. Woo! Okay, to start. I had to go to bed last night. I went to bed last night only at 11. But oh my God, I think I know why I'm so tired right now. It's because I cried watching a show. And yesterday I was so tired because I also just cried a lot. Crying makes you really tired. I feel really weird today because my mom is on a trip for 5 days visiting her sister in Prince Edward Island in PEI. And my boyfriend, in the span of 4 hours, yesterday, after finding out some sad family news, booked a flight to India and is gone. So the two people I'm closest with in the whole world at this period of time in my life are my mom and my boyfriend, and they're both gone and both currently unreachable. My mom will be reachable very soon. But if you've ever flown from one side of the world to another, I have never, personally, but I'm going a little cuckoo crazy because I just miss my boyfriend. Oh my God, I just feel like I'm being thrown back a little bit to my single days when you exist in the world just as you, yourself, and me, myself, and I, you're just living in the world without anybody who cares about you that much. No, I'm just kidding. That's so extra and dramatic. I'll tell you about my class this morning because I got up at 6:45 in the morning, got ready, so much more glam than I ever do because I had to take my grad photo today. Oh my God, I just burped so loud. Had to take my grad photo to get today, which is super fucking cool and crazy because I'm graduating in April of 2023. And I decided, okay, well, if I'm getting my grad photo taken in the afternoon and I have to go all the way on the subway for that, I might as well go to my 9 a.m. class, which has been online for the past 3 weeks. So I went to my class and regretted it very early into my journey in the class. I was sitting next to a friend and he was literally like, Jess, you are just doing everything under the sun in this class. You're looking up trips for your grad trip, which I'm very excited about. And you're planning out the rest of your degree. And I'm like, yeah, 'cause I'm bored. I am at the point in the semester and in the year where it's I don't want to commute. I don't want to wear a coat that's really freaking thick and get on the subway and whatever. And yeah, I just don't want to go to class anymore. And it's the winter time of year where it's cold now and we all just want to stay inside and life is just weird. It just feels weird. And I was just watching a show that made me cry. That's why I cried today, but it spiraled into being I miss my favorite people cry. It's only, listen guys, we're only in the first 24 hours, okay? So I can just calm down. I'll be fine. I'm seeing my friends tonight. It'll be a good time. But oh my God, every time I hear myself say I'm shut up, Jessica, you're being so annoying today. I think I'm just tired of living in my own head, which is very freaking relatable. I think a lot of times living in your head gets really tiring, especially when you're not really super happy about the place you are in your life. But anyway, earlier today I was watching a really good show. If you've ever watched The Fosters on Netflix, it was very I don't even know if it was very popular, but it was popular quite a few years ago. But there's a spin-off called Good Trouble, which is so freaking good, and I've been on a Good Trouble train watching the very last season, and I was just oh, this show is so beautiful, reflects so much of stuff that goes on in society. it just like made me emotional. I cried and I was just like, humans are so important and human connection is so important, and me being in a bad mood today is a very human thing of me. And so like, why not make a podcast episode just being like, hey guys, I'm in a really bad mood and I'm just feeling funky, fresh and weird, but we're gonna still talk about some important stuff today, and I hope you'll come along with me on this journey. So to start, I'm gonna talk about, well, okay, there's advice I want to give on relationships because I got some questions on Instagram about it, and a friend recently told me that she really likes the episodes I do on relationships. I just don't know if I'm ready to talk about relationships when I literally have no contact with my boyfriend right now. Okay, I'm just like a little bit sad about it. I miss him, and you don't realize how freaking often you talk to someone and how fucking accessible people are to us via our phones until you can't talk to them anymore, until they're literally on an airplane, or like for this entire week, wish me luck, he's gonna be unreachable, and it's like blah blah blah. I'm always, I hate this because I'm always the girl who preaches like, live your own life, be an independent, like, you know, person. And like, I had a really bad experience with my ex-boyfriend where like I went on a trip and he was super freaking crazy, and just like not crazy but just like not healthy support love. It was very toxic and stuff. But like right now I'm like, wow, okay, there's a part of that was valid. Part of it. Not the whole thing, but part of it that was valid, because like I think there's like a really weird feeling you get when you're just like existing, living your day-to-day life in your normal schedule, especially when you're not loving your normal schedule. Like, I'm really excited for like a revamp of my routine. I feel like my weird school schedule doesn't leave me a good routine right now. But anyway, there's something to be said about like how difficult it is to be like, whoa, I text this person so much, or I call them so often, or I talk to them at least once a day, and now I can't, and I don't even know, like, hope everything's going fine for them, to not have them there anymore. And when I was single, I think there was this like this like feeling of loneliness that a relationship, I don't want to say like fills that, but like you have someone in your corner, you have someone, like, you have, like, for me, I feel like I have a built-in bestie that I can just call up and be like, yo, I'm sad, and they help you. But being this isolated from someone you're so close to, it literally forces you to be like, I have to support myself and get myself out of any of these moods that I don't like, or sit in these moods alone. But I just am here to say that we are built for connection. We are built for human to human love. And I'm really excited to like lean into people that I don't talk to always on a day-to-day basis. I'm so excited to see my friends. I'm going to like hang out with my dad this weekend. I'm such a mom's girl, but like I'm also such a dad's girl. Like I really bond with them in different ways. And so like whenever my mom's around, we're like, but because my mom's not around this weekend, I'm going to be like, Dad, let's like chit chat about life. So everything's going to be fine. And speaking of everything being fine, this is the first thing I want to tell you guys about. My BF had, like, he's all into like self-help reading books right now, which is so fun and like so attractive. And he basically was reading these books that like talked about mantras. And like I've read lots of books like this too that are like, you need a mantra, you need an affirmation, you need to manifest, have the my affirmation when I was going through my yeast infection, vaginal problems, which I have an episode about, so go back to that one. I had like the mantra like, I love my mind, I love my body, I love being a woman. Here's the problem with affirmations and mantras like that long and like that woo woo. Wow, I've never said the word woo woo in my life, but like if you don't know what that means, it's like, oh, like spiritual, like high vibe. Like people say woo woo to like diss it, I think. But anyway, having an affirmation that's like super higher self energy is not realistic in my opinion, because you're not going to be able to reach for that affirmation when you're in your lowest self. So like think about it as a freaking scale or graph or pole. I think about it as like a linear like line, a vertical line. And let's see, your lowest self is on the bottom. So that's yourself when you're hungover, when you're tired, when you're sad, when you're heartbroken, when you're grieving, when you just had a bad day. Like your lowest self, like you know what your lowest self is. I feel like a lower version of myself today. Your middle self is, in my opinion, this is all, first of all, shit that I've made up. So like take with this what you will. But my middle self is like me just living my life day to day. I'm like doing the things I gotta do. I'm like enjoying my day to day activities. I'm like enjoying the in between periods, the transition periods of my life, and I'm just like vibing out. My middle self, like, cool. My middle self, it can definitely reach to my higher self, and my middle self can definitely like use an affirmation. Like, I love my mind, I love my body, I love being a woman, but like sometimes it sounds silly. You know what I mean? I feel like people have heard, like, I want to give another suggestion on like an affirmation, like I don't chase, I attract. Anything that is mine will simply come to me. Like that shit. Not saying it's bad, just saying it's not realistic to use at all times. And so I'm saying I don't think it's realistic to use at all times because I think that's something your highest self. So that's like yourself when you're really inspired, when you're really creative. For me, when I'm doing yoga, when I'm feeling calm, when I'm feeling, you know, the most myself, when I feel connected to the universe, when you feel connected to God, when you feel connected to your higher purpose, your higher power, all of that stuff is like your higher self, I think. And so when you're your highest self, sure, those affirmations will work for you. When you're your middle self, okay, maybe like I don't know percentage, maybe 70% of the time you can reach to those higher self affirmations. But when you are your lowest self, today I'm not going to be like, I love my mind, I love my body, and I just love being a woman. Sometimes when you're at the depths of like your period horror days, you're like, I don't love being a woman right now. Maybe I can be impartial to being a woman right now, but like cuz being impartial to something is better than being like, I hate being a woman, cuz I definitely used to say that when I was on my period. But now, where was I going? When I edit, I'm like, oh my God, I take the most abrupt stops during sentences where I just like completely lose my train of thought, take a sip of water, and then keep going. But so my whole point here is I think it's a lot better if you're gonna have a mantra and manifestation or whatever to have one that's you can reach from all levels of yourself, especially your lowest self. Like, what's the point of a mantra if you can't reach it from your lowest self? And I learned this from the BF. He read this book and he was like, my affirmation or my mantra is, I'll always be fine. And I really like that. And I explained to him on FaceTime, I was like, oh my God, I'll always be fine. You can reach to that when you feel like absolute dog shit. Today, when I'm really tired or like missing the people that make me like feel my most comfortable self, or just like overall being sad or mopey or hating the fucking cold weather, I'm like, I'll always be fine. And I know that that's true because I've survived and gotten through 100% of the hard things that I've been through in life. So if I'm in a tough spot, I'll always be fine. If I feel like shit today, I'm not going to be like, I am a warrior. I will persist. I am a child of the universe. I'm like, fuck the universe. So that's something I wanted to say today and going into this holiday season. I will make it clear right here, right now, I'm not obsessed with the holidays. I feel like I've seen so many posts on Instagram about people being like, it's my favorite season ever. Oh my God, first snowfall, time for the festivities. I am not that. If you are on my wavelength, I fucking love you. If you love the holidays, I also fucking love you. I'm kind of jealous. Like, I wish I could get that into the holiday spirit. Maybe it's because I'm not a pet person. And I know you might be like, those don't relate. I think they relate because I also wish I could be more like the people who are like obsessed with dogs. And I don't want to be obsessed with dogs, but like love pets, like love dogs, loves furry things. I don't love furry things. I could take them or leave them. You know what I mean? I had a childhood dog and my friends thought it was the weirdest thing in the world that I had a childhood dog when they were around my dog because they were like, I've never heard you mention this dog in the entirety of being friends with you. How is this possible that you have a dog? Don't get me wrong, super sad when she died. R.I.P. Sydney. I feel like I haven't said her name in so long. And you've definitely, like, on the podcast, people are like, I never knew you had a freaking dog. I'm sure you're listening and you're like, what? How did I know you had a childhood dog? Like, for years. She died in 2020. R.I.P. And I think this connects to not being obsessed with the holidays. Because, like, I don't know, maybe that's a similar bone you have in your body. Maybe that's a similar, like, thing you feel that I don't experience. But for those people who do, love you, so proud of you, yay. I'm here to give some advice for the hard parts of the holidays because we all have to admit the entirety of the holidays is not joyful, wonderful, and golly, what is it? Jolly and fun or whatever. Um it's not, because we're forced to like see family members we may not want to see. The weather's cold in Ontario, so like you can't love that at all times unless like maybe you do. People like do winter sports and stuff. I also don't do winter sports. Oh my god, as a kid, I was like, "Mom, don't make me go outside. Let me stay in." So, the first thing I want to say is start your routine now. Fuck, this is all advice I have to take myself. No wonder I wrote this shit down. I haven't even taken this advice. Okay, no, I've taken some of these things, but I want way better of a routine. I just like being in school. I hope many people can relate to this, is that like your school schedule, your classes are different every single day, typically. Like, it's just like all over the place. There's no consistency. I could wake up at different times every single day. And sometimes like today on a Friday, I have to wake up at like 6:45, and it sucks. That's why I'm not going to as many classes anymore. Anyway, starting your routine now and then choosing something to stick with for the holidays, I think is really important, because during the like holiday break, we get completely thrown off our schedule, and we like just might not know left from right, up from down, and that will cause a lot more anxiety. When our bodies know what to expect, there's a lot of like groundedness that comes in that, and like calm, safe feelings. I also have a holiday episode I recorded last year, and in the title it's like how to get through the holidays and deal with your racist uncle. So totally listen to that. I'll link it below, because we all have that racist family member that we have to deal with. Maybe they're homophobic, maybe they're sexist, maybe they're transphobic, maybe they're racist. Overall, they're not woke. So get a routine, stick to it, and try and like, and I'm not talking about anything complicated here. I'm not talking about waking up at the same time every day. I'm not talking about like not drinking alcohol. I'm not talking about like doing fucking Pilates every day. I am saying one thing. Pick one thing. So examples like reading before bed, or meditating in the morning, or going on a walk by yourself even though it's cold outside. Think about it as a cold plunge, if you're into that shit. I am personally going on vacation for a week, which I'm very freaking excited about. So I'll be somewhere hot. Sorry if you're rolling your eyes at me right now, because maybe you're not doing the same. But I drink lemon water every single morning without fail. I actually missed my first lemon water morning for the first time in, I think, forever. It was not a good day. And so I am going to either try and bring lemons with me on vacation, or find them at the resort and continue to drink my lemon water every morning. I don't know if this will work out, but like hopefully it will, because I always drink my lemon water, end up taking my morning poo poo, and then eating breakfast. And it's just like I like the order of things. I feel like myself, like when I've gone to the cottage before, like example at Thanksgiving, and we always host people at the cottage. So for me, I feel like all over the place, and I get overstimulated, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't like talking to people as soon as I wake up. I always spend the first hour of my morning alone in silence. And so even when I visit my boyfriend or whatever, I need something to stay the same. And so drinking my morning hot lemon water, perfect, beautiful. It's not that hard to keep that in my routine, and it gives me some form of like consistency, so I have less anxiety. I know my morning poop is going to come soon because I got my lemon water going. It gets my digestive system moving, and it's just like that warm, lovely start to my day. So my biggest tip is just like keep one simple, small thing consistent, because our brains go all over the place, and we want our holiday to feel like a fucking holiday. It's called the holidays for a reason, even though sometimes it just feels like the holidays you just run around and do stuff for other people and spend all your money on gifts for other people. It's a whole thing. And also, just because something's a tradition doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. I love this. Like, I feel like I am getting to the point where my mom and I were talking the other day about how we were really like annoyed about gifts, and how like it's really hard to come up with gifts for people, and like why are we racking our brains so hard to come up with gifts for people when like I know what I need and my mom knows what she needs for herself. Why don't we just get ourselves stuff? I don't know. But I think I'm starting to lean towards a like, why don't we all hang out and like enjoy each other's company and like not put all this pressure on gifts. And that might not be your thing. Your love language might be gift giving, so don't listen to what I say. My boyfriend and I are actually like, because our birthdays are very close, like they're in March, so they're pretty like soon after Christmas, it feels like. And so I'm like, okay, for our birthdays, let's do something material. Like I'll get you like a product kind of gift, and vice versa. But like for Christmas, why don't we like go stay in a hotel for a night and have a little romantic date? To me, that sounds delicious. It sounds so much better. I would much rather have a lovely evening with my significant other than hope to God I like the gift that he got me. Because has anyone ever been there where you've gotten a gift from someone you love so dearly and the gift is just like, is not it? Yes, come in, Father. I'm recording a podcast episode from my bed. We can talk after. Oh, thanks for taking my ice cream spoons. Well, clearly I can't hear anything with my headphones on because. Oh, I can hear my dad going upstairs. That's so funny. Oh my god. Okay. Listen, guys, I have to tell you something. Past version of Jess would have gotten so uncomfortable with my dad walking in on me podcasting, but I am such a badass now. Basically, last night, my dad and I talked about my podcast, which is huge. When I first started this 2 years ago, I didn't even really tell him I started a podcast. I don't know if he's ever listened. Maybe he has. Overall, my dad's on this like kick where he wants to get my brother and I off the books, as he says it. He wants us to be off the books so he's not paying for anything for us anymore. And like he does support us a lot. And I totally get it. And so last night I feel like he's really gotten a new tactic to approaching getting me off the books, which I deeply respect. And that tactic is by fully supporting my podcasting and my passion and like strategizing with me. So like love him for that. I'm very, very grateful. I did not think we were going to have that outcome and result. And hey, if I can make money off the podcast and that's what gets me off my dad's books, I mean, hallelujah for us both. He's like, we have the same mission here. I'm like, absolutely we do. I want to be able to fully 100% financially support myself. So here we go. Back to what I was talking about. He also came in to like ask me about what I wanted to do. There's like a little room outside my room and he's like totally on board with me like sprucing it up a little bit to make it like a fun podcast studio. So he came in to like ask me what I wanted to do with that. That's literally so cute. I'm so lucky and loved. The last thing I want to talk about in terms of holiday season is boundaries. And this is a challenging one because as I get older and like do more self work on myself and like talk to my therapist and blah, 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 I realize the things that frustrate me about like my family, about my brother, about like whoever I like spend the holidays with. Oh yeah, how the holidays are supposed to feel like a break. They're called the holidays. Can we treat them like a holiday? Like, so find your ways of like hanging out by yourself, relaxing, seeing the people you love, whether that's your friends, your family. Oh my god, it's so fun because like for me, like the holidays, well, I think for most people, the holidays are when people come back to their hometowns. So like reconnect with the people that you love who like don't live in your hometown anymore, or if you're someone who doesn't live in your hometown anymore, take the opportunity to like I was gonna say hook up with people, but like hang out, meet up with people who you don't see in your day-to-day life. And back to boundaries. Yeah, that's how I feel about them. It's hard. It's your job to uphold your boundaries at the end of the day because you can request boundaries and respect of them from other people all you like. But at the end of the day, like other people might not respect your boundaries. An example is for me, people comment on how much I eat a lot. But this is a recent realization I had that like as a kid, I mean, I'm a hungry gal. I eat a lot often. Like I'm a snacker. I eat like many meals a day. And growing up as a kid, like I get how that could be also like very inconvenient for your parents to like have to feed you all the time. But oh my god, this like words down to like me feeling like my basic human needs are an inconvenience, which is like that's fucked up. Like we have bodies that have demands. They need to be fed. We need to use the washroom. We need to drink water. Like those should not be seen as an inconvenience. But basically, different members from my family will make comments, and I've noticed it's only the women, for the record. So that's a huge reflection of society and how women are taught to make themselves smaller, not only emotionally and spiritually, but physically. And that's something I struggle with a lot in terms of just like, I'm an adult now and I feed myself whenever I want to feed myself, whenever my body tells me it's hungry. And when I'm around all my family, I will get comments that like, "Oh my god, you're eating again?" Or like, "Oh my god, Jess, you're always hungry." Like, do you think I want to come up with new things to constantly feed myself? I am the queen of being hangry. When I am hungry, I'm an asshole. Do you want me to be an asshole? No, we want Jess nourished and thriving. And food does that for me. Obviously, it does for all of us. So this is a really challenging boundary I've just come to terms with. Not even like, this is the first time I've talked about it in a while, since I realized I had this issue, that I just like didn't like how my family like talks about this about me. What I'm thinking about this is that like, if I want to have the conversation of like, "Grandma, please stop saying I'm hungry all the time. Grandma, please stop commenting on my eating," I can do that, and I can hope that they uphold that boundary and they stop commenting on that. But they might not. There's a high chance that you'll communicate a boundary and your family member or whoever it is will continue doing the thing that you asked them not to. So for the holidays and in general, but especially the holidays when we have to see a lot of people we don't usually see all the time, it's our responsibility to uphold our own boundaries. And so that means like, when someone comments on my eating, I walk away. I go to the bathroom or I redirect the conversation. And that's also like a little piece of advice I have for when you are asked questions you don't want to answer. I am starting to get a lot better at it. Someone asked me on Instagram how to deal with like hard conversations from parents or adults or whatever, whoever, about like, "Oh, when are you and your boyfriend going to live together?" And like those tough conversations. And I think my best piece of advice is like, honor yourself, but don't honor yourself to the point where you're uncomfortable and putting yourself in a vulnerable position where you can get like really hurt, or like, it's just in a position you don't want to be in, especially in a very like big family gathering or public setting or whatever, where you can't like feel safe. Like, redirect the conversation. So today I had my grad photo and the guy was like, "Oh, so like what are you thinking about doing after you graduate?" And this is a conversation I constantly have to have at family gatherings. I'm sure many of us do. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I am not going to pursue any more school. I'm so tired of being in school, blah, 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 blah." And I just went off about being done school. So you can do that tactic when you're in like any kind of conversation. Also, I bring up my brother. Literally, he's now in like, he's graduated a master's program and he is in a full-time job, and he's now at the point where he's like, "Oh my god, like what am I doing with my life? I can't just like work in an office 9 to 5 forever in this small town," kind of thing. But he checked so many of the boxes that adults, like boring adults, want you to check. Graduate university, maybe even do a master's program, get a 9 to 5 job, like work full time in the summers, always have jobs pursuing your career, all this stuff that like are the linear quote unquote ways to like fucking be successful in life, or just like have the regular white picket fence, have kids, get married, all that stuff. And so for me, whenever I'm talking to people who I don't actually want to tell them about, like, "I have a podcast and I am creative and I don't have that linear path and I don't like school," whatever, when I don't want to tell a certain person that, I will just direct the conversation to my brother and I'll be like, "Yeah, so Cameron's actually like really liking his job lately. And oh yeah, him and his girlfriend, like she's super funny, blah, blah. They met on Tinder," like whatever. They didn't meet on Tinder. They met on Hinge. But like, I'll just be like, "Oh, that reminds me. That reminds me of my boyfriend and how he's pursuing a business degree and he's really interested in marketing and blah, 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 blah." Like, you can redirect the conversation to not be about you anymore. And it is the best fucking way to be sly about dodging a topic you don't want to discuss with that person. And hopefully it works. Sometimes people be like, but you didn't tell me what you want to do." I mean, sorry, grandma. Like, you might not like what I'm going to want to do with my life. My grandpa follows me on TikTok now. He likes all of my TikTok. I'm like, oh my god. Is there anything Gen Z can keep away from the boomers? My god. But yeah, like honestly, try your best. And I said this in the last holiday episode I said, and I will say it again, and I will continue saying it forever. You don't need to be a smoker to take a smoke break. Go outside, take a break, get a breath of fresh air. I love how cold the air feels on my face. Like, pretend you're getting a phone call and then you have to leave, or like have a friend you can text, like be your safe person. I don't have I don't have that situation yet, but I've always seen that advice on like podcasts and TikTok to be like, have a friend who like knows you're in a tough situation and they can like with a quick text can like call you and bail you out. It's like, I don't know, I've never tried to do that. I feel like everybody has so much shit going on, but that might be in my own head. Anyway, I really hope all this holiday advice was very helpful to you. I am glad I did an episode, and I'm tired, so I'm going to go lay in bed, or I'll go talk to my dad about what I want to do with the room. So make sure you subscribe and you leave a review for the podcast and download the episodes if you liked it. If there's any topic requests you have, please feel free to send me a DM on Instagram at human2humanpod. Follow me on TikTok at TikTokpod at human2humanpod. And I have an episode coming out about imposter syndrome very soon. So please send me any questions you have about it on Instagram DM, and talk to you soon.